Speaks Talk Radio, where women's words are changing the world.
Hello there, and today we are here with Di Wilson, and I'm looking forward to a lovely chat with Di about her spiritual journey. So Di Wilson is an energy healer and teacher, and her business is called The Healing Touch. So welcome, Di. Hope you're well today.
Thank you. I am feeling fabulous, Wendy. Hope you are too.
Yeah, fabulous. So, Di, can you tell us a little bit about your journey, how you kind of came to where you are today?
I was actually born into a spiritual family. So some people might say I didn't have much choice, but on a higher level, I think actually I made a perfect choice by landing in a family where my mum was actually a clairvoyant medium. So right from being an early age, I understood energy, spirit, saw things beyond the physical, and just had that real knowingness that we are more than the physical. So I knew that from a very, very early age. So for me, really, I just had the blessing of landing into it. And then I've just taken it from there, really. I had a long time in my life where it was just on a shelf, and I had that belief structure and understanding, but I didn't do anything with it because I just wanted to be a normal kid, teenager, etc.
If there is any such thing, actually.
Absolutely. And then when I was in my mid-20s, I got increasingly curious about things. And it was actually Reiki that was a catalyst for me.
Okay.
I'd seen Reiki advertised.
Yes.
Which this is 1995, so there weren't many Reiki classes and Reiki masters around at that time. But I saw a couple of classes advertised, and I'd asked my mum, "What's this Reiki thing that I keep seeing?" And my mum just said, "Oh, I don't know much, but what I do know is that there's a master healer, and they put it into your hands so you can do it too."
Yes.
And I literally rolled my eyes and giggled and thought, how ridiculous, like, there you go, you can be a healer too. And I was exceptionally skeptical about it. But I think it's quite actually healthy to be skeptical about things. So
absolutely, yeah. I think you have to question things to kind of build your understanding as much as anything else. But also, I don't believe in accepting anything blindly. Until we truly believe and accept it ourselves, I don't think it works, does it?
Well, that's just what happened with me with Reiki. Curiosity just got the better of me.
Yeah.
And my mum and I enrolled on a Reiki 1 class. And it was on that day when I was attuned to Reiki, and I placed my hands on my mum. She was my partner. And I could just feel that love, that flow. And it was just the most precious moment for me, because I realized at that very moment, this is who I am. This is what I was born to do. I'm here as a healer. And I just started to cry. I had the most amazing kind of feeling, and I just realized past, present, future, this is my destiny. I am meant to be in this room connecting with Reiki right now. And I looked at my mom and the Reiki master, and they kind of both saw what I was going through. And it was just tears of gratitude for coming home. So I kind of found my thing. I realized that energy healing is my thing. And so how many years ago is that? Yeah, sort of 26 years later, I'm still learning. I'm still enrolling on courses. I'm still learning about energy healing. I'm an eternal student, because the more that I learn and understand, the more I can share and be with this energy. And I just feel exceptionally blessed. I found that so young. I teach energy healing, and often people come in the 50s, 60s, 70s even to do training, and that's fabulous. But gosh, I did it when I was in my 20s, which is just awesome. So I've had, you know, a lifetime of working with energy, and I cannot really remember what life is like without that love in your hands to share with people.
Yeah.
You know, how do, inverted commas, normal people, the muggles, how do they cope without this? You know, how do you get through daily life without connecting in with that source energy? So I feel very, very blessed.
Yes, that's wonderful. And I guess right from the start, you were using that on yourself, which again would have enhanced your knowledge as well. Can you remember any of your early treatments?
Oh, yes. Sort of. Well, the thing that really, I suppose, clarified it all for me, that just made me, wow, this absolutely is working, is when I went and did my Reiki 2 class, and the master asked us to think about someone that we would like to send some distant healing to.
Yeah.
And at the time I was a primary school teacher, and there was a member of staff at the other end of school. I didn't really know very well. I just knew she was off sick. So her name popped into my head. And so I did this distant healing session for her. Yeah. When I got home that afternoon, my answer machine was flashing. You know, can you remember the days where you got home to see who'd called you that day? My answer machine was flashing, and this voice came that I didn't really recognise. And she said, "Oh, it's Lynn. You might know me from school. You're going to think I'm really weird, Di, but I just had a feeling I had to talk to you today and that you could help me." And she'd never called me before. Yeah. She'd had to ask someone else for my number. We weren't friends, but she'd obviously tuned into the fact that I was tuned into her on that afternoon. So she ended up being one of my first Reiki clients. And so that just proved to me straight away, wow, even distant healing, you know, you make a connection with people and can offer them what they need at that time.
And I mean, we do that so often without realising it, don't we? And I guess over the years, I've realised how much that energetic link is there, and, you know, just thinking about a person and them contacting you. And it's just phenomenal, really. And I think it's something that in the type of work that we do, eventually you start taking it a little bit for granted, and forget how wonderful and amazing that is, really. Yeah. So I know that you do more than just Reiki. So what other things do you work with as well?
So over the years, I've found lots of fabulous healing modalities. And I think at this time when the world is in need of healing light, I think it's almost like we're being given new ways of working with energy that are going to be more accessible to more people. So I've dabbled in lots of things, and like everything in life, some things you really resonate and love, other things it's like, it's okay, but it's not really my thing.
Yeah.
So I've done lots of different trainings over the years. But what I've actually come to is developing my own way of working with energy healing. So I now teach something called quantum breath energy healing. So this is a way of working with your breath, with the awareness of your body, with light, with higher energy, and bringing that to a space that you can use for yourself or that you can offer to others.
Yes.
So quantum breath energy healing is something similar to Reiki, that you can do distant healing or you can actually do hands-on. But unlike Reiki, there's no attunement. It is just technique. So I'm teaching people techniques of working with the breath, working with the chakras. We do a lot of work with the heart chakra especially.
Right.
To get yourself to a really beautiful space. The main energies that we work with quantum breath are love, joy, gratitude, and peace. And when you can bring all that beautiful energy and really be in the moment and be present with love, joy, gratitude, and peace, something magical starts to happen. You just rest in that beautiful light, and then we involve the breath as part of the practice as well. And then whether you're using your hands then for yourself and bringing that intention to areas of yourself that are in need, or whether you're offering it to someone else or an animal or even the world, it's all done through this very simple technique. So that's what I work with. It's still developing. I've been teaching this for maybe 6 years now, something like that. So And what I'm finding is each time I teach a class, I learn something new myself. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, I've done that today. I've never done that before. And then the magic that happened last year was that I started teaching it online.
Yeah.
Because I'd always loved being in the room with people and having that, you know, the magic that happens when people get together and you just like be in that same energetic space. And then I've shared how to do hands-on healing, and people have paired up or worked in little groups, and we've had that lovely connection of being together in that building for 2 days.
Yeah.
And then in April 2020, I was all, you know, geared to teach. People's names were in the diary, the deposits were paid, and obviously, lockdown happened. And I just messaged these ladies and said, how do you feel about connecting on Zoom and seeing what happens?
Yes.
And what happened was the most special quantum breath course that I taught. It was amazing. So again, you don't need to have a physical connection because we're all connected anyway.
Absolutely.
And go on, sorry.
Yes, sorry. I was going to say I found exactly the same, because I took my mediumship workshops online thinking, I'm not really sure how this is going to work. And it was amazing, absolutely amazing. And people gained so much from it. Yes. And I felt that, we're not going to be able to have that connection with spirit, but spirit's all around us at the end of the day, aren't they? And spirit
Absolutely.
are an energy, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to link in that way, really. Absolutely. And I will continue to do stuff online, but I don't know about you, I do miss the actual face-to-face and meeting with people and getting groups together.
Yeah. I'm doing the same now. So I'm back to teaching in person. In fact, I've got a quantum breath class tomorrow and the following day. So I'm back to teaching in person, which is fabulous.
Yes.
But I'm continuing to teach online because it just opens up the doors for more people as well. So I've had, in the past, I've had students from Africa and from the Caribbean islands and different places in Europe. People have flown in to do courses.
Yeah.
It's so much easier if we can just send them a Zoom link.
Yes.
So recently we had a lovely guy from India who's actually a doctor, is an anaesthetist, and he did the quantum breath levels 1 and 2 online. Mm-hmm. So he's there in India, a bit of a time difference, but other than that, we can see him with this beautiful day and weather outside, where he's connected with somebody shivering in Newcastle. And 0 to 10, how sore is that back right now? It's about an 8. 20 minutes later, it's a 0, and he's in India and she's in Newcastle.
Yeah, amazing.
So it just makes things more practical as well, working online. And also, I've been able to help my quantum breath community more, because previous to working online, they would come on a class and they'd get an email newsletter now and again and connect through my Facebook groups. Yeah. But now we're having regular practitioners calls and meetups online for people that have done courses. So you're staying in the community and you're able to ask questions and do healing on each other, even once you're qualified. So that's worked really well as well. So
is it also about teaching people how to breathe? Because although we breathe, I know that many of us still breathe very shallowly, and therefore we don't really get the benefit of the breath, do we? So is it working to teach people how to breathe again?
In a way it is, just really by bringing your awareness to it. So not too much getting wrapped in the mechanics, because I think if people try too hard, then they come up with a block. So I keep it really, really simple, and I just encourage people to breathe to the belly and slowly and deeply. But breath has been part of spiritual practice, since man arrived on the planet, I'm sure. And I always laugh at the story of the native Hawaiians who call white man the huli, and that translated is man without breath.
Right.
Because they couldn't understand when these white-skinned people first started coming to the islands of Hawaii and talking about Christianity and building their churches. And it's like, well, A, they don't even take the shoes off before they go into their place of worship. So that can't be right. Yeah. But B, these people don't even breathe. it was all high in the chest and like conscious breath to their religious practice. So I think we've all been a bit hooly, especially in the West, unless you're a singer or you do kind of yogic practice, and we do take our breath for granted. And actually there's a lot to be gained. Forget the energy side of it, just actually breathing well is good for your body. So that does come into play a little bit in my teaching. Yes,
and I guess if you look around at the number of people that are struggling with things like anxiety and stress, and I think often that is because that breath isn't being dealt with properly, that people are only, as you said, breathing through the upper part of the lungs. And of course, the body doesn't like it, really, does it?
No, what happens is that your body thinks you're in a stressful situation and it's on high alert. You're breathing, shallowly and higher in the body than the warning signals are going on in the body that says, right, I've got to be on alert, something's going on here. But if you can breathe slowly and lowly, as in deeper into your belly, then your body thinks, okay, we're safe. I can relax. I can digest my food. I can relax all my muscles because we're not on high alert. So breathing is a lovely way for your unconscious autonomic nervous system just to settle down.
Yes. And is there a best way of doing that you could recommend to our listeners?
I go along with something that I learned from Heart Math. And there's an institute in the States called Heart Math, and they've brought the science to breathwork and to spirituality. It's all really fascinating. But what has come from their research is that just a really, really, really simple breathing technique is very effective for the body. So it's called the 5 times 5. Right. So basically you think of your heart center. So I would encourage you to put your hands on your heart center if you can. And that's kind of the center of your body. It's more your heart chakra than your physical heart.
Yes.
So just placing your hands on your heart chakra, and then you're going to breathe in as you count to 5 slowly. So as you inhale, count to 5, and then exhale for 5. And you're going to do 5 of these breaths. So inhale for 5. And exhale for 5. Inhale directly to the heart center for 5. And the same exhale. And then we'll do 2 more. Inhale to the heart for 5. And exhale. And 1 more. So especially if your hands are on your heart as you do that, it's just a really good way of settling yourself down. And I call most of my teachings, whenever I'm working, there's a few rules I work with when I'm teaching, but that one is coming home to yourself. So if you can come home to yourself, so if you can come home to your center, to your heart center, come home to your breath, and just press a pause button on whatever else is going on in your life, and just come to your heart, come to your breath, come home to yourself. And if you can come home to yourself lots in the day, it actually strengthens your energy field. So when you're focusing on lots of different things, so whether it's a screen, whether it's someone else's conversation, whether it's, I don't know, somebody passing by, like your attention is on lots of different things. But if you can keep coming home to yourself and actually being the person in your body, you just remember so much more that I'm more than my head.
Yes.
My mind is meant to be serving my energy body and my spirit and my gut feelings and my heart. Let's use the mind to help all that, not to run away with itself and take you into an autonomic crisis where you think that you're being chased by a bear and you're not. So come home to yourself as often as you can throughout the day. And my other rule, sorry,
I was going to say, of course, you can do that at any time. Really.
Anytime.
But I guess if you really are in that really hectic state and you can't you can't feel like you fit it in, just go into the bathroom or something like that. You can just spend a couple of minutes doing that, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Literally, if you get good at it, just come home to yourself. You can just say that in your head.
Yes.
I'm coming home to myself, and you can come in. But it's practicing, so you might practice while you're in the bath or on the yoga mat, or other times in your life. But if you do it regularly, you can just give yourself that instruction. I'm coming home to myself.
Yes.
And bring your attention. And we do ignore the body a lot. We let our mind overtake us and focus on what's going on there. But actually, if you come into the body, that will tell you what's going on.
Yes.
Your body's a communicator between your soul self, your spirit, and your mind. So use your body as a way. And you'll probably do this in your mediumship training. People will feel things in the body. They'll sense when they're connecting. It's not what the head's saying, it's feelings that's going on around them and within. And that's what we can learn to listen to.
Yeah, and I feel that very much with the mediumship. It's people need to get the head out the way. Yeah. And I think, as you say, people just let the head rule everything. And when we let go of that and allow those sensations to come in, it's unbelievable what we can feel, what we are aware of. And it's so much more than just us, isn't it? Just that sense of us.
Absolutely. And we can learn to use the mind in a positive way, in a productive way. So I work with EFT tapping, which I've used for decades. It's one of my favourite things. But I also do something called a bioenergetic synchronization technique, which sounds very grand. It took me a while to learn how to say it, never mind how to do it. But BEST for short, bioenergetic synchronization technique, literally is syncing up parts of your body where there's no circuitry, where there's no connection. So different parts of your brain to different parts of your body, where your head, your mind is just not getting the right messages. So it tells a story of its own. So there are lots of ways where you can help yourself to feel more and to connect more, rather than just letting your head take itself on its own little journey. But if I could go back a step, Wendy, what I was going to say about, for me, for rules with working with energy, is that of being grounded. So whatever I'm teaching, whether we're working with crystals or with meditation and mindfulness or the hands-on healing, whatever I'm teaching, I always have sessions on being grounded, because we are part of the earth at this time. We've landed in a body, we're living on the earth, and we need to keep that connection to the earth. And it's amazing what simple grounding techniques, how they can really help your physical health. I'm just stunned when I share these very simple things with people, how actually, I'm feeling really good and I'm not had a headache and I'm sleeping better. It's like, because you're grounded.
Yeah, I actually have an earthing sheet.
So do you? Yeah.
Because I struggle to sleep an awful lot. And again, I think it's my head getting in the way. And the earthing sheet has really helped that. And there's some really good stuff online about earthing and about becoming grounded, isn't there?
There is, absolutely.
So what's your best technique for very simple technique?
It sounds really silly, and people laugh at me because I've always got a spoon in my handbag.
Right.
I teach something called spooning. So you get a stainless steel spoon and you rub it on your feet. So I like figure of eights, but you could just do straight lines. But what happens is that when you do a bit of an energy switch, you find it harder to connect to the earth. So the earth in your feet are meant to have different polarities, a negative and a positive, so that when you're walking on the earth, you can connect and you can drink in all that lovely earth energy. But if you've had a little switch and your feet have gone the other way, then you're just not connecting. So the stainless steel spoon changes your feet back to the polarity where you can connect again, and it's really, really simple. So 3 times a year I do a 5-day challenge through Facebook. So we do I call it Remembering Your Light. So we have 5 days of just really simple energy medicine techniques to help people to remember that they are light and that they're allowed to shine. In fact, you're here to shine.
Yes.
So we have 5 days, very simple exercises. And then we check in through Facebook, how are people doing? And I do a bit of a live on a night. And we always do, day 1 is always grounding.
Yes.
So is it day 1? Do you know what? It might not be day 1, but I get people ideally to actually lie down on the earth.
Yes.
Or lie down and feel the earth underneath you, or at least take your shoes off and, feel the grass or the beach or the land underneath your feet, and to do some spooning and to massage your feet. And we do all these grounding activities. And then people come back. They all put photographs of their bare feet on the grass on the Facebook group, which is fun. But they all come back and say how great they feel afterwards.
Yes.
So it's a simple thing. I can teach so much about energy work and how to connect with the light and share the light, but actually just having a stainless steel spoon in your pocket or getting your shoes and socks off, that's all you need, really, is to ground yourself.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. I'll definitely going to try that one, because like you, I do a lot of grounding work with my students, because whenever we work with the light, whenever we work with spirit, it's important not to become too airy-fairy, isn't it? And
you've got to be grounded.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes the work so much more powerful as well. And as well, I feel that in that way, they're not using our own energy so much, but we're drawing it up from the earth, we're drawing it down from spirit, and we pull the two together to do some amazing work, really. Yeah. So what do you feel obviously we all go through difficult times in our lives, and there are times when I don't know about you, but you're perhaps not really sure how you're going to get through it, really. Have you had times like that, and what's been your best way of dealing with them?
Like everyone, I've had traumas. I think for me, I might get emotional as I tell this story, so forgive me. But I like to feel whatever's coming up. I'm not going to push it down. But for me, I've always had an immense trust in spirit, in the universe. And I just know whatever does happen to me or my loved ones, I have the strength and courage and understanding and the wisdom to get through it. So my biggest thing personally was losing my mum. So my mum, she's still my best friend, but she was literally my soulmate, my best friend, and taught me so much. Not just all the spiritual stuff, but just to have a passion for life and to live magically and to share and to give, and she was just the most amazing lady, my mum. And she actually had a fall in lockdown, broke a hip, and it's just spiraled down from there. And so from that day when she broke a hip to her actually going home, it was about 6 weeks. And in that 6 weeks, initially I thought, no, she'll be fine, I can help her with what I do, everything's honky-dory. It was locked down, so I moved in with her, so it was just the two of us. But then it became apparent that things were spiraling down, and I really didn't know how I would have the strength to go through that, especially in all the situation that we were in, because
it was a difficult time.
It was a very difficult time, but it was perfect. It was all absolutely perfect. And even though I had to witness the struggle that she went through and the trauma of it all, it was still magical. And I knew in every day that I would have the strength to get through that day and to be there for my mum. And that's how it worked. And I think actually the hardest thing now, because we were so connected, my mum and I had a year living in Canada, which was my biggest year of spiritual growth. It was just incredible. But even when I was 8,000 miles away, my mum and I would pick up the phone at the same time to talk to each other. We'd have our favourite pack of Native American cards, and we'd split the cards, in 2 different continents, and we'd get the same card out of the 78, every single time. And we were just so connected. And because of my knowledge of spirit, I just assumed that I would still feel her around me all the time and talk to her and she'd be there and see more of what I do. And that's what I'd always believed and told everybody. But actually the hardest part for me has been that there are many days or even weeks where actually she's off doing something way more exciting than watching me in North Yorkshire. You know, and I don't feel her around me, and that's been hard. I feel a little bit rejected, to be honest. And then, you know, other times, like she's here now, I know she's with me, and I've still got that love, and you know, there's nothing like a mother's love, is there? And you know, I've still got that, and her strength and her passion, you know, will come through me. But yeah, my grief has been the fact that it seems strange to say this, but I'm a little bit jealous that she's journeying and having fun without me, because I've always been part of her adventures before and she has mine. Absolutely. And now she's in a whole new dimension.
I tell you what, I reckon that she's super proud of you, Di, and I reckon that she's off on those journeys learning lots of new things to bring to you to help you with your work in the future, to help you continue developing all these new techniques that you've so amazingly brought about to help so many different people. So I'd just like to say a really, really big thank you for talking to us today. It's been wonderful to chat. And where can we actually contact you, Di?
So probably just through social media and my website. So my website is The Healing Touch, thehealingtouch.uk.com. But if you just Google The Healing Touch Scarborough, I'll come up. And then on Facebook, I am again The Healing Touch. And I'm trying to do a little bit more on Instagram. I've done a couple of lives and a couple of reels recently on Instagram, so I'm trying to do a little bit more. So on Instagram, I'm Di Wilson Fox. But sign up for the newsletter, make sure you like and follow, and then when I do things like the free 5-day challenge and things like that, you'll know what's happening and can jump in.
Fabulous. Thanks again, Di. I'd just like to say a big thank you from me, and also I'm sure many of our listeners. And this is Wendy Dixon from Intuitive Life, and we'll be back soon. Thank you.
Much love. Namaste.